Hey, this is Bigg, and I've just finished playing the first new game of 2021. So I've decided to do the first of many reviews this year, where I'll be making my recommendation as to whether you should buy, avoid, or wait for a sale. Now, the first game is from one of my favorite franchises. It's Hitman 3. Now, I've played every Hitman game since the very first game, Hitman Codename 47, back in the year 2000. Hold up, that's 21 years ago.
I'm too old for this shit.
Hitman 3 is the final part of the World of Assassination trilogy, which started in 2016 and was basically a reboot to the series. Now, in case you've never played a Hitman game before, you play it as a genetically enhanced assassin who is known as Agent 47, traveling the world performing seemingly unconnected assassinations. Now, that was the first game, and things have obviously progressed since then, with the ending of Hitman 2 setting up things for the beginning of this game. And like for all my other reviews, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I will say it's a good idea for you to play the first two games before you play this one, but I'll get into that later. Now, let's start off by talking about the strength of the story. It's good enough. It's enough to connect the three games together and gives you a decent end to the trilogy. There is a part in the story where things start to heat up, and it's definitely a better story than the first two games, but to be honest, it's nothing spectacular. But to be honest, I never really played the first two games for an amazing story. Also, if this is your first Hitman game, you shouldn't be put off by it not being a long campaign. There are 6 locations in the campaign, each with 1 or 2 targets for you to eliminate. Now, this may not sound like a lot to you, but the Hitman games were built around replayability. Each location is basically a sandbox with multiple ways of getting to and killing your target, and you're rewarded for experimenting. You can go in all guns blazing and kill everyone in between you and your target, or you can choose the stealth approach and choose a disguise to get close enough to your target to get the kill. Every action you perform goes towards your final rank, and the highest rank you can get is the Silent Assassin, which you only get for doing a perfect kill with no witnesses and no bodies found unless it's an accidental kill. Just like the first two games, there are mission stories which you'll discover by listening to NPCs around the area. These give you the opportunity to set off a chain of events which will enable you to get close to your target, or actually have them come out to you. There have been some great stories in the trilogy, but one of the best has to be playing the private investigator in the Death in the Family level in the Dartmoor Mansion. Your target has hired a private investigator to investigate a brother's death, allowing you to walk straight into the mansion and explore most of the areas without being questioned. You can ignore this and just kill your target, as she will come out to meet you, or you can actually play the detective and solve the murder. It's entirely up to you. Also, completing kills in different ways and completing different challenges in the missions will go towards your ranking, which all goes towards your level mastery. The higher your ranking is on the level, the more weapons you unlock. You'll also unlock different starting locations, allowing you to start the mission in a different disguise to blend in unnoticed. You'll also unlock different drop-off locations so you can smuggle weapons into the level, allowing you to bypass security, especially if you know you're going to get frisked. So basically, although there are only 6 locations in the campaign, there's enough to keep you coming back for more over and over again. I put 100 hours into the first two games combined, and I didn't complete everything. So like I said earlier, don't be put off with there only being 6 missions. When it comes to gameplay, it's pretty much the same as Hitman 2, but with a few extras. The first being the addition of a camera, which can be used to scan electronic locks to gain access to some areas. Also, there are some shortcuts which can be unlocked and will remain unlocked for every future playthrough. Apart from that, it's pretty much the same as Hitman 2, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The camera is supposed to work in the previous two games as well, but I can't confirm that because I've been unable to play the first two games as part of the package, but we'll get into that later. Now, from the very first mission, you can tell that the writers had been watching a lot of movies when making this game. Skydiving to the top of the skyscraper in the Dubai mission definitely reminded me of Mission Impossible Fallout. The murder mystery definitely looks like it was inspired by Knives Out. The final mission is one of the most action-packed Hitman missions I've seen for a long time, and considering IO Interactive's next game is a James Bond game, maybe they want to give us a taste of things to come. And the shooting actually felt better than the last two games. There were a couple occasions where I got caught when making my way to the mission exit and I couldn't be bothered to restart from a save game, so I just decided to shoot my way out and, test the weapon handling, and it definitely felt better. Being able to get into cover and pop out to get kills like I would in any other shooter, it felt good. But to be honest, these mechanics may have been in the first two games, but I never felt the need to get into a proper gunfight in the first two games. But I do remember whenever I was using my weapons, it never really felt that great in the first two. So there's definitely been some improvements there. Contracts mode has also made a return for this game, adding even more replayability to the game. Contracts mode allows you to play contracts created by other players around the world where anybody can be a target. And to be honest, it's what I spent most of my time playing on Hitman 2. For the first time, I decided to actually create a contract myself just to see what it's like, and it's actually pretty good. You play through a level and kill anybody you choose. You can mark them as a target either before or after you kill them, but this must be done before you hide the body. You can mark up to 5 targets, and the creator will log how you killed them and what disguise you were wearing when you killed them. Then, after you've exited the mission, you can add conditions to the contract. Maybe you want to state that the kill needs to be done as an accident or with a particular disguise, or that the mission will fail if you get caught performing an illegal act. It's completely up to you. The most popular contracts are selected as feature contracts and can be viewed worldwide. As for graphics, Hitman 3 looks great, and I was happy at just how well optimized this game is. I'm playing on PC with an AMD Ryzen 7 2700X that's been overclocked and an AMD Radeon 57 XT Red Devil and 16GB of RAM. I was able to play at 1440p with most of the settings on ultra and high, and it stuck to around 58 to 60 frames per second range. I did try it at 4K and got around 40 frames per second, so I just went back to 1440p, which is the resolution I play the majority of my games at. I had no issues, which is a nice change after playing games like Black Ops Cold War, which was constantly crashing and giving me issues. So far I've mentioned a lot of good things about the game, and now let's talk about some of the bad things. Now let's start off with the Epic Game Store release. Now, I want to start off by saying that I have nothing against Epic Game Store, and I'm not a diehard Steam user. In fact, I was actually laughing at all the people who are mad about the game being locked to Epic Game Store for a year, because as far as I'm concerned, the most important thing is that it's on PC, and I don't really care which launch I have to run to play it. But on day one, I ran into a problem with it being on Epic, and that was the transfer of content from the first two games. The servers crashed when trying to copy over my progression, which is understandable because there were a lot of people who wanted to transfer their progression to the new game. But this meant I couldn't play the game on launch day. This isn't, that much of a big deal now as it was fixed and I was able to transfer the progress over the following day. What is an issue is that the first two games are not available for me to play through Hitman 3, and it wants me to buy them again to play those missions. Also, the game keeps disconnecting from the server at the worst possible times, literally when I'm trying to complete a mission. And I also found that some things are missing that were in Hitman 2. There's no more sniper assassin mode unless you buy Hitman 2. So it looks like they've either abandoned that mode or it's coming later. Escalations seem to only be available through DLC or by buying Hitman 2 as well. Escalations are basically a challenge mode which lets you complete an objective a number of times with different conditions being added each time to make it more difficult. Elusive targets are not available yet, but it does look like this will be added later. An elusive target appears for a short period of time and you only have, one opportunity to kill them. They add this in Hitman 2, and the first one was with Sean Bean as the first target. So I'll be happy when this returns. So now it's time for my verdict of should you buy, avoid, or wait for a sale. If you love stealth games and sandbox games where you can do whatever you like, you should definitely buy this game, as it's the best in the trilogy. If you already own the first two games, you should definitely get it now, unless you're prepared to try and dodge spoilers for the next year while you wait for it to arrive on Steam. And all I can say is good luck with that, because I already found 2 spoilers before I finished the campaign, and it really annoyed the hell out of me because people are putting spoilers just in their video titles these days. Okay, so good luck. There is the issue of the first 2 games not transferring over to this one, but I'm sure they'll find a workaround within the next few weeks. So it's definitely worth getting. If you haven't played the first 2 games, you should before you play this one. So either buy the bundle with all 3 games or wait for a sale where you can buy the complete set a little cheaper. I'll put some affiliate links in the description because, to be honest, it will help me out, and I'm only going to recommend from sites where you can get it a little bit cheaper. So I'll put links for the PC version and the Xbox version in the description. Unfortunately, I don't have any links for the PlayStation version, which is annoying because this is a PC and PlayStation channel, but it is what it is. So what are your thoughts? Are you going to buy Hitman 3? Or have you already bought it? If you have, leave a comment, to let me know how you're getting on, how you're enjoying it. Also, I'd love to know if any of you got the PSVR version of the game. Just in case I decide to get a VR headset for my PS5 and decide to get the PlayStation version of Hitman 3, at some point as well. Also, remember to hit the like button if you found the video useful, and for more game reviews, previews and gameplays, hit the subscribe button and check out some of my other content. Thanks for watching.